Hello, all glory to Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. So, the mark of the beast. So, let's talk about it a little bit in the vaccine. Related to the vaccine, is the vaccine the mark of the beast? Well, we'll go into it, but firstly, beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and every one that loveth is born of God, and knoweth God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. In this was manifested the love of God toward us, because that God has sent his only begotten Son into the world, that we might live through him. Herein is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us, and sent his Son to be the propitiation for our sins. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought also to love one another. No man hath seen God at any time. If we love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us. Hereby know we that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit. Verse 18, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. We love him, because he first loved us. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen? And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God loveth his brother also. So the devil's trying to create fear and drive out our love. But there's nothing to be afraid of. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So if the worst thing that can happen is that we die, what's the problem? For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. Therefore we are always confident, knowing that whilst we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. For we walk by faith, not by sight. We are confident, I say, and willing rather, to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. So the devil's trying to make us be afraid. Don't be afraid. The worst thing that happens is we die, we go and be with Jesus. So it's really not that bad. So the mark of the beast. So a lot of people are talking about the vaccine as being the mark of the beast, and I'm not convinced. And I just want to go through it and sort of lay out the characteristics of the mark of the beast. There aren't that many verses in the Bible about the mark of the beast, but we'll go through what's there and we'll talk about a few things. So firstly, the timing of the mark of the beast. So I'm pretty sure the timing, the mark of the beast comes up with the second beast that, in Revelation 13 that comes out of the earth. I'm pretty sure that's the timing. And I'm not 100% certain. Who knows? God knows, but I'm pretty certain, and we'll go through that. So Revelation 13, we've got, stood up on the stand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And there were given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies, and powers given unto him to continue 42 months. So we've got this first beast coming out of the earth, 7 heads, 10 horns, continues 42 months. And in verse 11, we've got the other beast coming up out of the earth, had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Exerciseth all power of the first beast, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. His deadly wound was healed. Man. This is one of the more confusing bits of scripture. I don't know what's happening then, because it seems like there's only one beast, and then that second beast that comes out of the earth, it seems like maybe that beast is possessing the first beast, is giving power to the first beast. And it said the first beast continues 42 months, and then as the second beast comes out, but then it sort of in Daniel and in a few places seems to be talking about there's only one person here. So it's a little bit confusing. And then we've got the image of the beast as well, which we'll talk about. So it's a little bit confusing there, but it seems to be, the way I'm reading it is, there are 2 halves to Daniel's 70th week, and in some recent videos I was sort of a bit confused as to what the timeline is. I'm leaning more towards what I originally thought, and that there's still 7 years to come. Daniel's 70th week, the time of Jacob's trouble, colloquially known as the Great Tribulation. I think there's still 7 years to come, and I think the first 3.5 years is stuff happens, but I think it's the second 3.5 years I think is the really, really bad time. And I think the whole thing is not good, but I think that it seems to be the case. The way I'm reading it is that the abomination of desolation is placed in the midpoint of the tribulation, and coinciding, I think, with the beast coming up out of the earth. And so and I think that's when the mark of the beast comes about. We'll go into that a little bit more. So we've got this second beast coming up out of the earth. He's doing great signs and wonders, deceiving by those miracles, and saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, and had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, and causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, that him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for the is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So I've probably read that a lot. You know that bit of scripture, so let's break it down. So just confirming the timeline, the 7 years, we've got Daniel 9, in the verse 27 there, and he shall confirm the covenant. I assume that he's referring to the beast. Shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. In the middle of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even till the consummation. And that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So that determined poured upon the desolate, that's the vials of God's wrath, I think in the last half of the tribulation. So yeah, the Daniel 70th week divided into 2 halves, the midpoint causing the sacrifice and oblation to cease, the overspreading of abominations to make it desolate. So that's the midpoint of tribulation. And Jesus says in Matthew 24, when ye therefore see the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. So the abomination of desolation, I think it's the image of the beast. There, the image, the idol of the beast standing in the holy place, and also in 2 Thessalonians 2, we've got the man of sin standing in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, declaring himself that he is God. We've got that happening as well. I think that's the midpoint of the Daniel 70th week. So, related to this, Daniel 3 and Daniel 6 also is worth reading on this topic. Daniel 6 was where it was made, the decree went out, you're not allowed to worship other gods, and Daniel openly worshipped Jehovah, and then he got thrown into the lions, but God protected him through that. So that's relevant to this. But Daniel 3 as well. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. And he set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces, to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Verse 4, and then a herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you shall fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And whoso falleth not down and worshippeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans, the Babylonians, the mystics, the astrologers, the magicians, those types, the Chaldeans, they came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said unto the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, we live forever. Thou, O king, hath made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshippeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image that thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that ye serve not my gods, nor worship the golden image that I have set up? Nay, if you be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the flute, cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast that same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said unto the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. He will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. So there we've got Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refusing to bow down to the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar set up. It's this Babylonian worship, we've got Mystery Babylon in the end times. So I think that's what's happening. There's an image that's being set up, and this image that's being set up in the last days, the image of the beast can speak. We know that that seems to be what's going on there. There's an image set up, and people are being forced to bow down to this idol, otherwise they'll get their head cut off. And so this is happening in the midpoint, I think. And so some more evidence for this is Revelation 14. I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation, and kindred, and tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven, and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of waters. So an angel flying through heaven with a loud voice, proclaiming the everlasting gospel. And this is happening, I think, in the midpoint of the tribulation. I would assume this is happening. I have to make another video going into Daniel's 70th week again. I've been confused as to when the two witnesses are preaching. I think they're going to be preaching in the first half of the tribulation. That's my current thoughts. And the reason why I think there's an angel that's preaching in heaven in Revelation 14, which is about the midpoint, is because at this point the two witnesses will be dead, I think, and perhaps have raised again. So God is now sending an angel to witness. So then after this first angel, there is another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So Babylon is fallen, I've talked about before. I think Babylon is Jerusalem. So at the midpoint, we've got Jerusalem, the beast standing in the temple of God, declaring himself to be God, I guess sacking Jerusalem. And so Babylon is fallen at this point. And I'll have to make another video and talk about this stuff in more detail. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark on his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night who worship the beast and his image. And whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So whosoever worship the beast and his image, and whoever receiveth the mark of his name. So the third angel flying here. The third angel, perhaps there's 3 angels all flying at the same time, or perhaps there's one after the other. I don't know. But at the time when there's an angel flying through heaven preaching the everlasting gospel, and there's another angel saying Babylon is fallen, there's also another angel saying, don't take the mark of the beast. And this is all pointing, as far as I'm concerned, this is all pointing to the midpoint of Daniel's 70th week. After the Antichrist has stood in the temple of God, the beast, the image of the beast, the abomination of desolation, at that time. And I don't think God would be sending an angel warning people not to take the mark if the mark already existed. The angel must come, I would think, either slightly before or at the point in time when the mark is available to be taken. Because God's going to warn beforehand, not afterwards. So at about the midpoint of Daniel's 70th week. Yeah, so we've got this beast coming up out of the earth, Revelation 13. I'm pretty sure that is associated, I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure that's associated with Revelation 9. And we've got the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. He opened the pit. Smoke came out of the pit, the locusts came out of the pit, and verse 11, they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. So it makes sense to me. I mean, I can't confirm 100% for certain that this angel coming out of the bottomless pit is the beast coming up out of the earth, but it is a connection. it makes sense to me that that would be the case. And this also seems to be happening around the midpoint of the tribulation. And the beast that comes out of the bottomless pit, now the beast coming up out of the earth is the one who makes war with the angel of the bottomless pit is the one that makes the war on the two witnesses and kills them. So it makes sense to me that around the midpoint of the tribulation, around the time when the two witnesses have finished their testimony, the angel of the bottomless pit is released. He kills the two witnesses, stands in the temple of God, declaring himself that he is God. And this type of stuff is happening around the midpoint. So that's the fifth trumpet. The angel comes out of the bottomless pit. So verse 12, Revelation 13:12. He exerciseth the power of the first beast. The beast causes the earth to worship the first beast. So the first beast is around 40 and 2 months. We know that. And the second beast, you would presume, comes up after the first. Maybe there's some overlap there. I don't know. But the first beast is around 42 months. And at the fifth trumpet, we've got the angel coming out of the bottomless pit. And this beast that comes out of the earth is doing great wonders, like making fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So I've talked before about Ezekiel 38, and how I think Ezekiel 38, that war, I think that happens after the 1,000 years, the 1,000-year reign of Jesus Christ and his saints. But I think there's a common belief that that's something that happens sometime during the tribulation. And we know that there's going to be war during the beginning, you might say. The first seal is the white horse going forth, conquering and to conquer. And I've talked about how there's plenty of the pagan religions, the satanic mystery religions. A lot of religions have a white horse eschatological figure. And so that could be seen as the fulfillment of many different prophecies. But that's probably the beast, I would suggest. That's probably the beast, the Antichrist, the imitation Jesus Christ. Because remember in Revelation 19, Jesus Christ comes back on a white horse. So it makes sense that the white horse, first seal, white horse, is the Antichrist, the impersonation of Jesus. Probably that's the beast that's being talked about there. So Ezekiel 38. I don't think that Gog and Magog war happens until after the 1,000 years, but we do know there's going to be war. Second seal, the rider on the red horse brings war, and one of the things I've talked about is how I think that we're in a false tribulation, and the devil and the people who follow the devil are trying to make things appear like the book of Revelation has been fulfilled. And that's necessary because otherwise, when the Antichrist comes, nobody's going to believe it. The Antichrist needs to appear to be fulfilling the book of Revelation. And anybody who's read the book of Revelation knows that some big things happen. So big things need to seem to have happened. So, as far as, Revelation, Ezekiel 38, got the fire coming down from heaven. This is something the second beast is doing. That's something that may appear to be fulfilled, like in the California wildfires, the fires that have happened. I think they happened in 2018 in Paradise. There are conspiracy theories that it was lasers from the sky, from technology in the sky. The deep state and the Illuminati were doing that. So be careful about that. So verse 14, Revelation 13:14, deceive people because of the miracles, saying to them that dwell on the earth, they should make an image. So the real Antichrist is going to deceive with miracles. And the Gog and Magog war, one of the reasons I think that might be a deception is because after that war, God is going to bring down fire from heaven against the armies that gather against Israel and destroy them. So it makes sense to me that if there's this belief that the Ezekiel 38 war is going to happen sometime during the tribulation, then it makes sense that there's going to be some war, and then there's going to be some fire coming down from heaven, but from the Antichrist, not from God. And we know that Trump has his Space Force, and we know that they're putting things in the sky, so they could do that imitation miracle, you might say. And we know also that Satan and his angels are in the sky, and perhaps they will be given power to bring down fire from heaven. We don't know, but there's something to be careful about. So it'll be image to the beast. It's going to be in Jerusalem. The abomination of desolation, Matthew 24. So then this image to the beast will come alive, speak, and those who don't worship it will be killed. And we don't know what the image of the beast is going to be. If it's going to be the first beast possessed by the angel of the bottomless pit, or a clone, or some transhuman thing, or a robot, or something like that. We don't know. We don't know. So, make it man. Yeah, Genesis 3, let us make man in our image. So, if Satan is trying to pervert, imitate God, God made man in his image. Will Satan make the beast in his image? So we don't know what the beast is going to look like. Might be a dragon. Who knows? So when we get to verse 16 of Revelation 13, with the mark of the beast. So causing people to receive a mark in their right hand, in their foreheads. Can't buy or sell unless you've got the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. It's the number of a man, number 666. So it's a mark in the right hand or forehead. Can't buy or sell unless you have either the mark, the number of the name, name of the beast, or the number of his name. And the number is the number of a man, 666. So just to be thorough here, going over the word they used for mark. It's charagma, which is only used, it's used 8 times in the New Testament. It's a Greek word, and those are all referencing the mark of the beast, and only one other time is that word used, and it's used for graven. And the definition given here is a stamp, imprinted mark, mark or brand upon a horse, thin carved, sculpture, graven work. But the indication is that it's something visible, because is it a vaccine? Is it some invisible thing that gets put in, or is it some visible mark that you can see? The indication, the evidence there is that it's something that's visible. And the only other time I can think of a mark being used on somebody is the mark of Cain in Genesis 4. The Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. And the word used there is auth. It's used for signs, tokens, sign, signal, distinguishing mark, banner, remembrance, miraculous sign, omen, warning, token. So the indication is that it's something that you can see. It's a mark that you can see. However, there are possibilities that it's not. For instance, there's the quantum dot technology, which is, there's a tattoo. It's like, I think it's an invisible tattoo, or maybe you can make it maybe you can have a visible tattoo as well. But it's something that could theoretically come along with a vaccine, where you get injected and you also get a tattoo that's invisible, but then you can read it with, your mobile phone or something like that. It's possible, but I don't know. It could be something, could be a digital thing, could be a DNA changing thing, could be possession by demons. I don't know. But it's a mark on the right hand or forehead. But along with this, there's the bad thing is taking the mark is bad, but there's also an element of worship involved. It's taking the mark, worshipping the beast, and worshipping the image of the beast. There's 3 things that go along. So as far as being forced to take the mark of the beast and that type of thing, there's this creating fear and all the military going to kick down people's doors and force them to take this vaccine. Well, it's about whether or not you worship the beast in his image. And is God going to let you, against your will, have something done to you which is going to throw you into the lake of fire for all eternity? No, he's not. He's not. God is going to protect you from that. So unless you're voluntarily worshipping the devil or the beast or the image of the beast and voluntarily taking this mark, I don't think it's something you need to worry about. Like, you're not going to get damned to hell. And as far as is it the vaccine, I have my doubts that it is this particular vaccine, and I'll talk about that a bit more as we go down. But I think this is something that you have to choose, and not just something that you're afraid of getting a virus and therefore you take a vaccine. There's the image of the beast. There's the beast standing in the temple of God, and there's all this other stuff that goes along with what's going on. There's the angels flying through heaven. So I don't think it's something you need to worry about imminently. I think it's something that happens in the midpoint of the tribulation, to do with the Antichrist. And we've got this image of the beast speaking. Okay, where are we going? Yes, I don't think the vaccine is a good thing. I'm not saying that, but Don't think it's the mark of the beast. And remember this quote from Albert Pike: Masonry, like all religions, all the mysteries, Hermeticism and alchemy, conceals its secrets from all except the adepts and sages, or the elect, and uses false explanations and misinterpretations of its symbols to mislead those who deserve only to be misled, to conceal the truth, which it calls light, from them and draw them away from it. So the way the satanic mystery religions work is they lie constantly. I mean, the devil's a liar. So you have this, the levels of initiation within the mystery religions, and at the lower level you get told a particular lie, and then as you go to higher levels you get told, oh no, that stuff that we told you in the lower level, that's a lie. Here's the truth. And of course that's another lie. And you go up to the next level and they tell you, oh no, those things we told you at those first two levels, that's all lies. Here's the truth. But that's another lie. And they keep lying to you all the way up to the top. But then the closer you get to the further you rise in the mystery religion, the more of the truth you get, until at the end you realize that you're worshipping the devil. And then you have the choice about whether or not you actually worship the devil or not. Openly, 100% the truth, but they indoctrinate you all the way along. And that's the way the world is as well. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing with QAnon, for example. They're telling you lies. And then over time, as they've indoctrinated you and got you to accept the low-level lies, they give you the next level of lie. And they pull you in. I mean, that's the entire world. The entire world is a mystery religion, you might say. And so, yeah, as I've said, I think that in order for the Antichrist to be convincing, there needs to be, the book of Revelation needs to appear to be fulfilled. So there needs to be a false tribulation before the actual Daniel 70th week, which God brings upon the earth. I think we're in the false tribulation. We've got the locust plagues, and we've got droughts, and we've got floods, and we've got the unrest that is going on in the world, and all the stuff that's happening is being shoved in your face. I think that's part of the false tribulation. And we need a false Antichrist. Well, I think there's a good chance that Obama is the false Antichrist. There's plenty of videos out there. People are looking at Obama. There's people who've had dreams, supposedly, about Obama, who are prophesying about Obama being the Antichrist. The QAnon people are against Obama. The Republicans are against Obama. And I looked on this Gematria website, 666, just to see what the popular terms are. And the top term is number of a man, Barack Obama. And we do have a Messiah Kushner and a Donald Trump, Mike Pence there. But then going down that list, there's a bunch of others. Barack Obama as a president, Mark of the Beast, Obama Barack. Oh, Barack Hussein Obama ill. Obama the Satanic Guide. And so this is just a website on the internet, but it shows that there are a bunch of people who are making a connection between Obama and the Antichrist. There's a belief out there. There's a lot of people who think that Obama is the Antichrist. So that story is being sold, you might say. That's going along with the QAnon stuff as well. So it would surprise me if Obama was the false Antichrist, as in when the actual Antichrist comes along, he can take out Obama and say, hey, I'm the Christ because I took out the Antichrist. Whereas in reality, I think Obama would be an example of a false Antichrist that the real Antichrist can take out. So there needs to be a mark of the beast also. If the book of Revelation is seen to be fulfilled, there needs to be a false mark of the beast, so that the Antichrist can come along and appear to have taken out the mark of the beast. Well, I think that could be the vaccine. Could be the vaccine. How many people are calling the vaccine the mark of the beast? A lot of people are. It's got the HR 6666 vaccine, which is 4 sixes, not 3 sixes, and it's not the number of it's not the number of a man. It's not the name of a man. There's no worship involved. There's no image of the beast standing in the temple of God saying take the vaccine. And maybe that'll happen in the future, I don't know. But at the moment there isn't. So I think it's a dupe. I think it's a false mark of the beast. And let's talk about... So there are a bunch of others as well. False marks of the beast. So remember barcodes. There's people who think that barcodes are the mark of the beast. Because the lines on there. There's a 666 on there. And there's that 606 score... 3 score and 6 is chi, z, stigma in Gematria. That's what's written in the It's the Greek in the Bible. And then you put those letters together and you can come up with the Prophet Muhammad is the Antichrist. And you can come up with, I think the Catholic Church is the Antichrist. And, there's a bunch of things associated with that. And then there's, Vav, 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 or WWW, 666. The internet is that's the beast, or that's the mark of the beast. And there are a bunch of other interpretations of the mark of the beast that people have come up with. And, there's so many things, like the Star of Rempan or Star of David. That could be the mark of the beast, because there's a 666 involved in that as well. We don't know. There's a whole bunch of things that could potentially sort of fit in one way or another what the description of the mark of the beast is, at least with the 666 part. And so you need to be careful. It can't be all of these things. It can't be all of them. So at best it's one of them, but probably it's something we haven't seen yet because it doesn't exist yet. Okay, so I'm not saying that Q or Trump are necessarily the beast, because I don't know who the beast is, but let's say that Q or Trump, and Trump might be Q, or maybe Q is somebody else, we don't know. But let's say that they destroy Obama and they destroy the deep state and they thwart the vaccine and they bring down fire from heaven with the Space Force, perhaps against an Islamic army that's invading Israel, or perhaps against China, or perhaps against Russia, or something like that. And they bring in a new economic system. They destroy the current economic system. They bring in destroy the cabal and the Rothschild bankers. And they bring in some new economic system like Nasara. And along with that, they bring a bunch of new technologies, maybe associated with Nikola Tesla. And they're healing people with these new technologies that will be hidden from us, from the satanic cabal. And they speak blasphemy about the true nature of the spiritual reality in which we live. Maybe they talk about aliens, and maybe Trump or Q confirms the covenant with Israel, perhaps by taking it over in some way and perhaps reinstating the things like they were in the time of Jesus, where the Romans were in control of Jerusalem, with Herod, the Edomite king, the Roman Edomite king. And then it confirms the covenant, allows the Jews to do their worship, rebuilds the temple, like Herod, the Edomite Roman king, rebuilds the temple and allows the Jews to do worship there, and returns the world into a similar state as when Jesus preached, and declares, so the Romans, the beast, the Roman Empire, the resurgent Roman Empire, headed by the beast, brings peace and safety to the world, resets the world, allows the Jews to practice their religion in their temple. Yeah. Would this be a good deception? Would this be a convincing deception for people? I think it would be. I think if Trump or Q did this stuff, then a lot of people would be deceived, and they would probably be likely to worship Trump or Q or whoever the beast is, whoever the Antichrist is. If he does this stuff, which is not far-fetched, it's not far-fetched that this stuff could happen, we're seeing it playing out, then that would be a good deception. I think that would trick people. People already think that this is what's happening. They already think that, what's going on is biblical. And Trump and Q appear to be conquering the enemies of God and encouraging people to, patriots and sort of the Catholics, I guess, the worldly Christians, to rise up and fight against the Satan worshippers who are ruling the world. And we've got the Christian patriots, people, Trump holding up a Bible and talking about God, kill the Antichrist, stop the mark of the beast, restore peace in Israel, destroy Babylon. And we don't know what Babylon is, but could easily be New York, or at least like the false Babylon, I should say. False Babylon could easily be New York or Los Angeles or Mecca or the Vatican. Who knows? But destroy one of these cities. That'll be a great deception. All of the people in the world, you remember the Albert Pike quote, there's false deception, false truths put out there. All these false positives, you might say. All these false positives, all this information about the New World Order, all this stuff that's going on. And so, I don't think that the vaccine that we're seeing, how many people are aware that there's a problem with it? I mean, every Christian who's paying attention is aware there's a problem with the vaccine, and the conspiracy community is aware there's a problem with the vaccine. The Q people are certainly against it, and anybody who's looking into it at all knows that there's a problem with the vaccine. And it's headed by the Bill and Melinda Gates, not popular figures, not popular figures on the winning side. Because the way I'm reading it is that the Q story, or the Republicans or Trump, or that side is going to beat the left side, and then the mainstream side is going to lose this Hegelian dialectic that we're in. That's the way I'm reading it. So all of the people who I think are on the winning side see the vaccine as a bad thing. So it makes more sense to me that it's a deception, like it's being put forth as this really evil thing to give people something to fight against. That's the way I'm reading what's going on. And regardless of whether or not the vaccine is the mark of the beast or not, it's not something we need to worry about, because the rapture is going to happen before it comes. So don't worry about it. So there's some information on the mark of the beast. I have a lot of thoughts at the moment about different things, like a few videos that I'd like to make, a few things I want to work through. So I hope that came out okay, but I wouldn't be worried about the mark of the beast, and keep your mind open. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think the vaccine is it. May Jesus bless you and keep you. Amen.